few of you are having problems with the logic honors extension, so these are going to be the notes for this. The objectives are I will be able to determine the truth values of conjunctions and disjunctions, and I will be able to construct truth tables. So a compound statements, they can be joined together. Compound statements can be joined together. Two forms of compound statements are conjunctions and disjunctions, which we're going to define momentarily. The words conjunctions and disjunctions aren't so important. What's even more important is that you need to know a conjunction is joining two or more statements with the word and. And the symbol for the word and, again, is the arrow that kind of looks like the capital letter A. That's how we should remember it. So if we're told P, Richmond, is a city in Virginia, Q is Richmond, is the capital of Virginia, P and Q, Richmond is a city in Virginia and is the capital of Virginia. Using symbols, this would just be P, that symbol for and, Q. The truth value of conjunctions, a conjunction is only true if both or all statements are true. So every statement that you have that's separated by an and, they all have to be true. So let's take a look at an example here. First off, let's find out what the truth value of each of these is. It says use the following statements to write compound statements for each conjunction. So we're going to write compound statements for each conjunction. Then find its truth value. So let's just look at the truth value of each of these. For P, 1 foot is 14 inches. That's false. 1 foot is 12 inches. Q says September has 30 days. That's true. And R, a plane is defined by 3 non-collinear points. This is moving back to Unit 1 stuff. That's true. Whenever I combine this, I have not P and Q. So I would say 1 foot is not 14 inches, and Q, September has 30 days. So let's think about this. Not P means that it's going to be, the first part's going to be true. 1 foot is not 14 inches. And we also know September has 30 days. So we're saying true and true. So the whole thing needs to be true. So an example of when it would be false would be letter B, where we have R and P. So R is a plane is defined by 3 non-collinear points and 1 foot is 14 inches. So whenever I break this down, a plane is defined by 3 non-collinear points. We said that's true. And 1 foot is 14 inches. We said that was false. So we'd have true and false. Since both of them are not true, that means the whole thing is false. You can try C on your own if you want additional practice. That's everything. Those are our examples with the conjunction or using and. On the other side of your paper, you see a disjunction. A disjunction is joining 2 or more statements with the word or. So you should remember the symbol for disjunction is the arrow flipped around from and. P stands for the diameter of a circle is twice its radius. Q, a rectangle has 5 equal sides. P or Q, the diameter of a circle is twice the radius, or a rectangle has 5 equal sides. So using symbols, we would do P, the diameter of a circle is twice the radius, or Q, a rectangle has 5 equal sides. So a disjunction is true if at least one of the statements is true. So with and, every statement had to be true. With and or conjunction, every statement had to be true. With or disjunction, only one needs to be true. So let's take a look at our example here. It says use the following statements to write compound statements for each disjunction, then find its truth value. P says segment AB. Remember, this symbol here means segment. AB is the proper notation for line AB. We know that's false. Q, centimeters are metric units. That's true. And R, 9 is a prime number. That's false. So again, we have to read our directions. We are asked to write compound statements for each disjunction, then find its truth value. So let's make sure we're doing this. We have P or Q. So what we would have here is AB is the proper notation for line AB, or centimeters are metric units. So using our knowledge from before, we know that P is false, and then we have or centimeters are metric units. We know that's true. So whenever we have false or true, at least one of them is true, so the whole thing is true. So we can, there's no example here where you're going to have a false answer in the end, but I would like to take a look at letter C. Letter C would have both of these be true because we would flip the values around. So remember, this symbol here, the tilde, means not. So we have not P. We would have AB is not the proper notation for line AB, or 9 is not a prime number. So we have here, we have not P, which is true, and we have not R, which is true. So when we have true or true, that's going to come out as true, because if both are true, that means at least one is true. You can try B on your own for additional practice. The last thing that's mentioned on these notes are truth tables. Truth tables are a method of organizing the truth of statements. So for these ones here, if we want to find not P, we have to look at the P column and we just flip it around. So whenever it was true, not P means false. True, not P is false. False, not P is true. And false, not P is true. So all I'm doing is changing all of the values. Whenever it's true, it's false. Whenever it's false, it becomes true. Now, I'm going to look at not P or Q. So not P is right here, and Q is right here. So I have true or false. At least one of those is true, so the whole thing is true. I have false or false. None of them are true, so that means that's false. True or true means it's true. False or true means it's true. So truth tables aren't that difficult for most people. Let's take a look at the other one. This time we have not Q. So whenever we have not Q, we're going to switch the value of whatever Q is. False becomes true. True becomes false for the first one. False becomes true for the second. True becomes false, and false becomes true. Now I need to look at the next column. P and not Q. So I circled P and not Q. So I have true and false. Remember, when it's and, both need to be true. Only one is true. True and true is true. False and false is false. And false and true is false. The thing that gives people the most problems is whenever we need to come up with something on our own. So for example, this was one of the problems in your practice. It's Q or the quantity P and not Q. So the problem with this is we're not given our table. You should really try to do this by yourself. How do you organize this when you're not given a table? So you have to make your own table. So I will do my best, and hopefully this will come out pretty decently. So we have P and Q. So remember, we had true, true, false, false. Sorry, it went true, false, true, false. So I'm trying to keep the same order as all of the other tables. So this is normally where we start out. And the goal in the end of this is to get to Q or P and not Q. So right away I should be seeing I have this value Q. So I'm good. So I need to work on other stuff. I don't have this value here, P and not Q. So that means I'm going to need that as my next step. So I need P and not Q. So again, I look at what I need to find P and not Q. I need to find P. I have it. And I need to find out what not Q is. I do not have not Q. So all I do for not Q is I use the preceding column. Not Q and Q. So all I'm doing is changing the values. False, true, false, true. You see how they're the opposite from what we had before? So now I can solve P and not Q. I'm going to be using this column and this column, the first and the third. So I have true and false, which is false. Remember, with and, both need to be true. True and true, which is true. False and false, which is false. And false and true, which is false. So the last one, I'm going to put red check marks above it. I need to find Q. That's this column here, and P and not Q, which is this column here. So I'm using an or this time. So I have true or false, which is false. Or sorry, true or false is true, because I just have to have one true. I have false or true, which is true. True or false, which is true, and false or false, which is false. Those steps might have been a little bit too fast for you, but basically we're working backwards from what we want to figure out the other columns that we need. Most of you should have been all right with the with filling in the empty spaces whenever we're given the headings for the columns. But finding those 3 extra columns isn't all that much work. You just have to kind of work backwards, and hopefully that explanation made sense. If it didn't, you should be rewinding it and watching it again.